Tasha had always loved engines more than people. Growing up in a small Midwest town, she found her peace in the low hum of torque and the smooth glide of a wrench across metal. She wasn't just good at what she did, she was better than most of the men in the shop. At 22, with oil-streaked coveralls and a stubborn streak inherited from her grandmother, Tasha had earned her place as the lead mechanic at Rusty's Garage, one of the only black women in a town where old attitudes died hard. Each morning she arrived before sunrise, tying her braids back under a grease-stained cap, her fingers already twitching for a carburetor. She didn't expect praise, just respect. But in that garage, respect always came slow when you looked like her. Still, she handled it. The passive glances, the customers who asked for one of the guys, the manager who double-checked her work behind her back. She didn't flinch. She just fixed what needed fixing, better and faster than anyone else. That Tuesday morning started like any other. Tasha had her head under a Ford when she heard the thunderous growl of pipes outside. Deep, unfiltered, unapologetic. A bike. A big one. The kind only serious riders handled. She didn't look up at first, not until the garage went quiet. And when she did, she saw him. Leather vest, grim expression, and the unmistakable patch on his back. Hell's Angels. Most of the guys took a step back, but not Tasha. She wiped her hands, walked up to him and said, "What's the problem?" The biker didn't speak much, just grunted and pointed to the engine. "Won't turn over," he said. "Electrical short maybe. Something's off." Tasha crouched beside the bike, her fingers moving across the chrome like a musician checking her strings. "Looks like a loose ignition coil. I can get you back on the road in an hour," she said calmly. No swagger, just confidence earned the hard way. The man did barely, then stepped back. The other mechanics watched from a distance, whispering behind their hands, not about the bike, but about her, about him, about what that patch meant. Hell's Angels weren't exactly welcome in this part of town. But neither was a young black girl running the show. Something about seeing the two of them in the same space, her under his bike, him towering and silent, made everyone uneasy. Tasha worked fast. She wasn't afraid of the man, she'd dealt with louder engines and scarier faces. What made her nervous was the sudden stillness around her. Even her manager, Rick, a man who rarely left his office, stood watching with folded arms and a look she'd seen before. Not anger, not confusion, disapproval, cold and quiet. An hour passed. The bike came to life with a low rumble that made the windows vibrate. The biker gave a nod of acknowledgement. Not thanks, just acknowledgement. For him, that was enough. Tasha stood, wiping sweat from her neck. "You're good to go," she said, and just like that, the job was done. But before she could walk back to her station, Rick called her name, loud, clear. "Tasha, my office. Now." She blinked. "Is there a problem?" He didn't answer, just stared. Inside, the air was different. Still, heavy. Rick closed the door behind her like he was sealing off a crime scene. "I don't think this is working out anymore," he said, eyes cold. She laughed, half believing it was a joke. "You're firing me for what?" He didn't flinch. "That kind of customer, that kind of attention, it's not good for business." She felt it like a punch. The words didn't say black. They didn't say woman. They didn't say you don't belong, but they didn't have to. The message was clear. By the time she stepped out of the office, toolbox in hand, the shop was quiet again. But the silence had changed. It wasn't curiosity anymore. It was complicity. She had done everything right, and she was still being pushed out. Tasha sat in her beat-up pickup, hands trembling on the steering wheel. The engine idled, but her thoughts were anything but still. Fired for doing her job. No warning, no write-up, just tossed aside like a tool no longer useful. She thought of her mother, who'd worked 2 jobs just to buy her that first socket set. Of the nights spent studying engine manuals while her classmates scrolled through prom photos. Of every calloused finger, every sexist smirk she'd ignored, every silent battle she'd won. Until now. And then her phone buzzed. It was a message from the biker. 2 words. "Come outside." She blinked. "What?" She stepped out slowly, unsure of what to expect. There he stood, leather vest, arms crossed, standing next to a different bike now. But he wasn't alone. 3 more motorcycles lined up behind him. Different riders, different patches, but all watching, all waiting. The original biker nodded toward the garage. "That your boss?" Tasha hesitated. "Was." He walked up to the shop, calm but deliberate. Rick stepped out, suddenly unsure of himself. "What's this?" Rick said, arms rising slightly, the fear he'd masked earlier now plain on his face. The biker didn't yell, he didn't threaten. He simply looked Rick in the eye and said, "That girl fixed my bike like no one else ever has, and you fired her. Big mistake." Rick opened his mouth, but before he could speak, the other bikers revved their engines, loud, unapologetic, drawing eyes from nearby shops, from the street, from phones now recording. One by one, they turned and rode away, except for the first one. He looked back at Tasha. "Keep fixing bikes. You're better than this place." And then he was gone. In that moment, the shop that had always made her feel small felt even smaller. But Tasha, she felt something new, like maybe this wasn't the end at all. It was the start of something bigger. Tasha never returns. To Rusty's garage. She didn't need to. Within days, a video of the confrontation had gone viral. The growl of the engines, the silent standoff, her calm strength. People weren't just watching, they were outraged. Thousands of comments poured in. Not just sympathy, but support. Donations, job offers, messages from other young women, black women, girls who had thought there was no place for them in a world of steel and grit. She didn't ask for the attention. She never wanted to be a symbol, but suddenly, she was. Within a week, she used the money from her small savings, plus the donations, to open her own auto repair business, Tasha's Torque and Tune. It was just a garage at first, then a brand, then a community. She hired people like her, those who were overlooked, doubted, dismissed. She trained them, mentored them, gave them the tools she never had when she started out. Her shop became more than a business. It became proof. Proof that excellence has no color, that grit can't be boxed in by gender, that when society tries to shut a door in your face, you build your own damn garage and leave the door wide open for others. But Tasha never forgot what happened that day, because it reminded her of a truth she had long known but rarely said aloud. In some places, being great isn't enough, not when you look a certain way. But that's why her story matters, because it didn't end in silence. It ended in engines roaring, doors opening, and a girl who dared to stand her ground becoming a leader no one could ignore. And the question remains, how many others like her are still being pushed out, unseen? And what would happen if we all stopped letting it slide?